After confessing to my childhood sweetheart 101 times, he married his first love. Completely disheartened, I married his younger brother who had been pursuing me instead. After marriage, his younger brother doted on me deeply. His love was bold and passionate. Everyone thought I was incredibly lucky to have married such a good man who loved me so much. However, when his first love and I fell into the water at the same time, I watched helplessly as he, who couldn't swim, jumped into the water and swam vigorously towards his first love. He even gave her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation underwater. I struggled desperately in despair, praying that he would look at me just once, but he only focused on bringing his first love to the shore and let me be swallowed by the sea. When I was in a coma, in the hospital ward, I heard him fighting with my childhood sweetheart for the chance to take care of his first love. He roared in pain. I sacrificed myself to marry Jiangyan, all for the sake of making sure she wouldn't interfere with your happiness with Qinwan. Just let me see Wanwan, okay? It turned out that no one had ever loved me. I immediately reserved a fake death service, planning to escape by faking my death. But after learning of my death news, he, who was always composed, pushed away his first love who was comforting him, bent over and spat out a mouthful of blood. He turned white-haired overnight. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. Miss Jiang, you have successfully purchased our fake death service. At that time, we will help you cancel your identity and arrange a way of death that satisfies you, allowing you to leave with peace of mind. The respectful words of the staff came from the other end of the phone. I just gave a faint in response. Let's set the time for 3 days later. I need to pack my things. After hanging up the phone, I dragged my aching body and walked back to the ward with difficulty. As soon as I reached the door, I met my husband, Lin Jinfeng. As soon as he saw me, he ran towards me with a look of concern on his face. Wife, you just fell into the water and your body hasn't recovered yet. How can you get out of bed and walk around casually? Go back and lie down quickly. As he spoke, he helped me lie back on the hospital bed and carefully tucked the quilt around me. After settling me down, he took out a box of still warm qingtuan from his large down jacket and gently placed it in my hand. Here, this is your favorite qingtuan. I took a plane to City A to buy it for you and brought it back. Eat it while it's hot. City A. It was several urban areas away from our current City S. While I was lost in thought, the patient in the next bed had already enviously exclaimed, Sister, your husband loves you so much. He not only crossed 800 kilometers through the snow to buy qingtuan for you, but he also put it in his clothes to keep it warm in case it got cold. Moreover, since you were hospitalized, he has been taking care of you. He even bathed you and fed you personally, and he often gave you jewelry and necklaces to make you happy. I'm so envious. Hearing this, I couldn't help but look at Lin Jinfeng. The tip of his nose was already red from the cold, and there was still snow on his hair tips. His eyes were full of love and affection, which was completely different from the decisive, cold, and noble President Lin in everyone's words. However, it was precisely these eyes full of love that deceived everyone, including me. Over the years, everyone knew that Lin Jinfeng doted on me deeply. He even felt extremely heartbroken when I just sprained my ankle. I also thought he loved me deeply. It wasn't until the moment I fell into the water that I saw him swimming towards Qinwan without hesitation and kissing her underwater. It wasn't until I saw him fighting with his brother Lin Mo for the chance to take care of Qinwan and heard his unintentional confession of his true feelings that I realized that the person he had always loved was Qinwan. Marrying me was just to make me stop pestering Lin Mo and to fulfill Lin Mo and Qinwan. How ridiculous. The happy married life I had had for many years was just an illusion. Now, looking at the qingtuan in my hand, I had lost all interest. I have no appetite. Just as I was about to put the qingtuan aside, Lin Jinfeng reached out to stop me. What's wrong, wife? Are you angry because I saved Qinwan first instead of you that day? I'm sorry, baby. I really mistook the person at that time, so I saved her first. Lin Jinfeng sincerely admitted his mistake, but I felt a deep sense of sadness in my heart. What a good excuse of mistaking the person, even if he really mistook the person. What about his kiss with Qinwan underwater? Was that also a mistake? It seemed that he had been deceiving himself for so long that he had even deceived himself. I twitched the corners of my mouth and forced a bitter smile. Yeah, I understand. Lin Jinfeng thought I was appeased and let out a sigh of relief. He said gently, "What do you want to eat? I'll ask the chef to make it for you." After saying that, he took out his phone and contacted the chef. Suddenly, as if he saw something, his face changed slightly. "Wife, there's an urgent matter in the company. I'll come and accompany you later. If you want to eat something, just tell my assistant and he'll bring it to you." After saying that, without giving me a chance to refuse, Lin Jinfeng left in a hurry, leaving me behind. As soon as he left, Qinwan sent me a private message. "Follow him. There will be a surprise." My subconscious told me that if I went, I would definitely see something that would break my heart. But I still somehow took a taxi and followed him. Sure enough, Lin Jinfeng went to find Qinwan. The door wasn't closed tightly, and through the crack in the door, I could clearly see the situation inside the room. On the sofa, Lin Jinfeng carefully held Qinwan's finger. It was just around the size of a mung bean, but he was extremely distressed. "Why are you so careless? You even cut your hand while peeling an apple," as Lin Jinfeng spoke. He brought a first aid kit and patiently disinfected and bandaged Qinwan. Then he even picked up a knife to peel an apple for her. He said with a doting and helpless tone, "What would you do without me?" He clearly used to say these words to me, but now he was saying the same gentle words to Qinwan, even though I knew that he married me just to use me. When I saw him being gentle with someone else, my heart still couldn't help but tighten at this moment. Qinwan pulled her hand back and pretended to be in a difficult situation. "Lin Jinfeng, Jiang Yin is your wife. You shouldn't come to take care of me. She deserves your love more." But Lin Jinfeng grabbed Qinwan's hand and said firmly, "She won't find out. I've hidden it well over the years. Besides, I just want to protect you and spend more time with you. By the way, you said you wanted to eat Qingtuan from City A before. I bought it for you. It's your favorite red bean paste flavor." As he spoke, he took out an exquisite gift box from behind him, which was filled with Qingtuan, but my eyes couldn't help but turn red. It turned out that he had bought 2 portions of Qingtuan, but the one for Qinwan was in a gift box, while the one for me was in an ordinary takeout box. It was obvious that the one for me was just bought casually. Just like I was just a substitute for Qinwan in his heart, or rather, I wasn't even a substitute. While I was lost in thought, Lin Jinfeng had already held Qinwan's face and leaned down to kiss her. At first, Qinwan pretended to resist, but later she gradually gave in, and the two of them kissed passionately. My heart felt as if it was stabbed by a sharp blade, and the pain was so intense that it was hard to breathe. I covered my mouth tightly with both hands, trying my best to hold back my tears. I didn't look any further. I turned around and ran out. During the process, I accidentally fell down, took a mouthful of cold snow, and even scratched my skin on the spot, causing blood to flow. The intense pain hit me, and the grievances I had accumulated over the past few days welled up. My tears fell down in big drops. After crying until I had no more tears, I dragged my weak body back to the hospital. Lin Jinfeng also rushed over in a hurry not long after. "Wife, my assistant called earlier and said he didn't see you when he brought you food. Where did you go? Don't scare me. I'll go crazy if I can't find you." Would he really go crazy? I glanced at the scratch marks on his chest and just felt it was ironic. I retracted my gaze and said indifferently, "I was feeling bored, so I went out to look at the snow for a while." At this moment, Lin Jinfeng noticed my red eyes. "Why are you crying?" "It's all my fault. I was too busy with work and made my wife feel wronged." Coincidentally, 3 days later is our 5th wedding anniversary. I'll hold a grand banquet for you to celebrate it properly as an apology. Is that okay?" Hearing this, I smiled. Lin Jinfeng thought I had forgiven him and also showed a smile, but he didn't know that I smiled because 3 days later was exactly the day I had reserved for my fake death. By then, I would give him a big surprise that he never expected. The next day, I was discharged from the hospital, and Lin Jinfeng drove me home. When I sat in the passenger seat, I clearly felt that the seat was lower than usual. After a careful check, the seat had indeed been lowered a bit. Moreover, I also found a strand of brown hair wrapped around the backrest. My hair was black, but Qinwen happened to have brown hair and was half a head shorter than me. It was obvious who had sat here before. Seeing me standing there, hesitant to sit down, Lin Jinfeng also couldn't help but look in the direction of my gaze. After seeing the brown hair in my hand, his eyes flickered slightly, and he quickly regained his composure and said, "Wife, don't misunderstand. My brother is on a business trip. Before he left, he asked me to take good care of Qinwen and pick her up and drop her off at work. That's why there are some remaining hairs on the passenger seat." Hearing this, my heart turned even colder. But he clearly said before that this was my exclusive seat and no one was allowed to defile it. Once, just because a scheming female colleague in the department tried to flirt with Lin Jinfeng and sat in the passenger seat before me, Lin Jinfeng kicked her out without hesitation. Only my wife is allowed to sit in the seat. But now, he let Qinwen sit in the seat and even broke his usual principle for Qinwen, as long as he wanted to avoid suspicion. He could have simply hired a taxi to pick up and drop off Qinwen at work, but Lin Jinfeng chose to pick her up and drop her off personally and even acquiesced to Qinwen sitting in the passenger seat that was supposed to be mine. Just then, I also caught a glimpse of 2 cartoon figurines of a couple kissing placed on the windowsill in front of Lin Jinfeng's seat. One was a male and the other was a female, with JF and QW written on them respectively. These were exactly the abbreviations of their names. It seemed that without my knowledge, Qinwen had completely replaced me and become the mistress of this car. I took a deep breath, suppressing the sourness in my heart. I just pretended not to see it and silently fastened my seatbelt. Anyway, I was leaving soon. No matter how affectionate Lin Jinfeng and Qinwen were, it had nothing to do with me anymore. After that, perhaps sensing that I was too quiet, Lin Jinfeng always tried to bring up topics intentionally or unintentionally, but I just responded indifferently. Not long after, Lin Jinfeng's phone rang, although he deliberately avoided me when replying to the message. Through the reflection of the car window glass, I still saw the chat content. Sure enough, the first thing that caught my eye was Qinwen's little rabbit avatar, Jinfeng. The water pipe at home burst, and I'm all wet. "Is it convenient for you to come over?" After reading the message, Lin Jinfeng's Adam's apple rolled up and down, but considering that I was still there, he quickly turned off his phone and smiled at me, trying to hide the fleeting look of guilt in his eyes. After that, he was obviously absent-minded and almost ran a red light several times. Halfway through the drive, he suddenly braked and looked at me with an apologetic expression. "Wife, there's another urgent matter in the company that I need to deal with, or you can take a taxi home first. I'll come back and accompany you as soon as I'm done." Okay. Although it was a question, it was obvious that he didn't give me a second choice. Before I could speak, he had already opened the car door, put me on the side of the road, and drove back in a hurry. Looking at the exhaust fumes of the car, I felt an indescribable feeling in my heart. Lin Jinfeng probably forgot that this was the suburban area, and with the snow, it was simply impossible to get a taxi. I once thought that he was my savior. After all, he broke 3 ribs in a fight for me, drank until he had a stomach hemorrhage to block the wine for me. He even remembered every one of my menstrual periods, and his WeChat moments were all about me. Even his brothers around him made fun of him for being my dedicated, love-struck person, but unexpectedly, he was the one who saved me. And he was also the one who pushed me back into the abyss, on the day I fell into the water. It was all Chinwon's deliberate plan. She dragged me into the swimming pool and then frantically accused me of pushing her. I struggled desperately in the water and kept explaining, but all I got in return was Lin Jinfeng's cold eyes and his determined back as he swam towards Chinwon. His deception and betrayal made me more disappointed and heartbroken than the cold rejection from my childhood sweetheart. Linimo. In the end, since I couldn't get a taxi, I could only walk home step by step in the wind and snow. As soon as I got home, Chinwon sent me a private message. There were many photos of Lin Jinfeng's sleeping face, as well as various intimate photos of them. Jiang Yan, no matter how beautiful you are, so what? A substitute is just a substitute after all. You only deserve to pick up what I don't want. Between the lines, there was nothing but provocation. Even though I had prepared myself mentally, when I really saw these photos, my eyes still couldn't help but turn red, and a sense of grievance instantly enveloped me. I self-abasely read all the messages Chinwon sent me. I rubbed my sore eyes, turned off my phone, and turned around to go inside and pack my luggage. There were a lot of things, and it took me 2 hours to finish packing. But I only picked a few sets of change of clothes and stuffed them into the suitcase. The rest I threw into the brazier. Among them, there were 99 love letters he wrote for me with his own hand. The youthful handwriting was full of love. There was the crown he had someone specially design and make for me, promising to dote on me like a princess. There was also the South China Sea pearl he spent a huge sum of money to bid for me at the auction, promising to stay with me until old age. After that, I lit a fire and burned all these things to the ground. Since I was going to fake my death and leave Lin Jinfeng, I was going to destroy all the traces of me here. By then, except for a fake corpse, I wouldn't leave him any memories. Just as I finished burning, Lin Jinfeng happened to come back and caught me in the act. Wife, what are you burning? After seeing the remnants of jewelry in the brazier, Lin Jinfeng's eyes suddenly tightened. Aren't these the things I gave you? Why are you burning them? I had an indifferent expression on my face. I just burned them since I don't like them anymore, but it wasn't just these items that I didn't like. I also didn't like Lin Jinfeng himself. I thought Lin Jinfeng would be angry after hearing these words. Unexpectedly, not only was he not angry, but he also dotingly flicked the tip of my nose. Since you don't like them, then burn them. I'll take you to buy new ones tomorrow. By the way, we can also choose the dresses we'll wear on the anniversary banquet day. There was always a smile on his face that made people feel like they were in a spring breeze. In the past, I would have been moved by it, but now, I couldn't help but sneer in my heart. Lin Jinfeng probably forgot the promise he made with me. Once, we agreed that if either of us wanted to separate, without saying much, we could just destroy our shared memories, and now, I was burning our memories, but he didn't seem to care. Clearly, he had forgotten about it. Or maybe he was too confident, thinking that he had hidden everything well and that I wouldn't find out at all, so he naturally didn't think in that direction. No matter what the reason was, it didn't matter anymore. The shared memories had been burned, and it was the end for him and me. While I was lost in thought, Lin Jinfeng suddenly reached out and hugged me, burying his head in my neck. Wife, you've been wrong these days. It's my fault. After I'm done with this busy period, I'll definitely make it up to you. If I hadn't smelled the inferior perfume on him that was uniquely Chinwon's, I might have actually believed his nonsense. I suppressed my nausea and forced a smile. Okay, as I spoke, I took Lin Jinfeng's phone and set an alarm for 2 p.m. 2 days later for him. Lin Jinfeng looked up at me. Wife, what's this for? I curled my lips into a smile. When the alarm rings, the surprise I prepared for you will also be delivered. Hearing this, Lin Jinfeng's eyes lit up, and he immediately picked me up and spun around. Wife, is this the anniversary gift you prepared for me? I'm really looking forward to it. I looked at him and said, I'm looking forward to it too. It's just that I was looking forward to seeing him go crazy when he saw my corpse. The next day, Lin Jinfeng woke me up early in the morning and took me shopping, on a date, and to watch a movie. It seemed that in order to please me, he stuck to me all the way, like a little follower. When we were choosing dresses, the salesperson kept praising us, saying that we were a perfect match, a handsome man and a beautiful woman. She even took out the store's treasure for me to try on. The store's treasure was dazzling, inlaid with pearls and diamonds. Even someone like me, who was used to seeing rare treasures, couldn't help but be attracted by it at that moment. The salesperson introduced it enthusiastically. This dress is sewn with gold thread and pink diamonds worth tens of millions each. There are even 999 pink diamonds on it. So, this dress is also called the Only Beloved, and it's sold for 90 million yuan. Before the salesperson could finish speaking, Lin Jinfeng directly took out his black card and handed it to her. "I'll buy it. It's for my wife." The salesperson smiled and took the black card. Looking at me enviously, "Mrs. Lin, Mr. Lin really cares about you." Lin Jinfeng looked at me with a smile on his face, "Not to mention a dress. As long as my wife wants it, even if she wants the moon in the sky, I'd be willing to pick it for her." As he spoke, he had already handed the dress to me and asked me to try it on. At this moment, Qinwan happened to come to this clothing store to buy clothes. After seeing Qinwan, the tips of Lin Jinfeng's fingers turned white, and his gaze involuntarily looked towards the door. It was so obvious between them. Why didn't I notice it until now? Now that I thought about it, there were signs between them a long time ago. Every time there was a family dinner, Lin Jinfeng's gaze would always linger on Qinwan. Once, when Lin Mo was on a business trip, Qinwan stayed at our house. That night, there was a sudden thunderstorm. Lin Jinfeng immediately jumped up and rushed towards Qinwan's room. He covered her ears and held her in his arms to comfort her. He explained that since his brother wasn't there, he had to take care of Qinwan, but he forgot that I was also afraid of thunder. That night, I was so scared that I curled up into a ball and couldn't fall asleep all night, and every time Lin Jinfeng cut an apple for me, he would cut it into the shape of a little rabbit. At that time, I even sighed that he was romantic and tasteful. Later, I found out that it was just because Qinwan liked it, and every time he cut an apple for me, he would give half of it to Qinwan. I was just a tool for him to get close to Qinwan, an excuse for him to hide his love. While I was lost in thought, Qinwan noticed the dress in Lin Jinfeng's hand and exclaimed, "So beautiful, can I try it on?" Lin Jinfeng took 2 steps back and directly stuffed the dress into my arms. "I'm afraid not, sister-in-law. This dress is specially bought for Yin Yan by me." Hearing this, Qinwan was stunned for a moment, and then she curled her lips into a smile. "I was just joking. Why are you taking it seriously? I'm not so desperate as to fight with my sister-in-law for a dress. However, Jinfeng, you're really like your brother. The 2 brothers are equally doting on their wives. Well, I won't bother you guys anymore. I'll go and have a look elsewhere." After saying that, she gave me a provocative look and then turned around and left on her high heels. After she left, Lin Jinfeng reluctantly took back his gaze, and a trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes. After feeling my gaze, he regained his usual smile. "You sit downstairs and wait for a while. I'll go upstairs and ask the salesperson to pack the dress." But when he came back, Lin Jinfeng had nothing in his hands. Before I could speak, he spoke first. "Wife, it's all the salesperson's fault. She was so clumsy that she accidentally made a cut on the dress while packing it. How could my wife wear a dress with flaws? So I didn't take it. I'll buy you a more expensive and beautiful one later." How could it be such a coincidence that right after Qinwan praised my dress, something happened to it? I knew what Lin Jinfeng was up to, but I just looked at him quietly and didn't say anything. After a while, I nodded and said, "As you wish." It didn't matter anymore. Anyway, I was leaving soon. Lin Jinfeng's eyes flickered, and he opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but the next second, his phone rang, and someone sent him a text message. Without thinking, I knew it was Qinwan. Sure enough, the next second, Lin Jinfeng made an excuse that he had something to do and left. This time, I still didn't stop him and let him go. As soon as he turned around, my phone rang too. It was a call from the fake death service staff. I answered the call, but accidentally pressed the speaker phone button. and the staff's words came out, "Miss Jiang, everything is ready. We're just waiting for you to sign. After you sign, you can leave with peace of mind." Hearing this, Lin Jinfeng immediately stopped in his tracks, turned back, and grabbed my hand. "What do you mean by leaving, wife? Are you leaving?" I curled my lips into a smile. "Don't think too much. My best friend is going abroad, and I'm just helping her with the formalities." Hearing this, Lin Jinfeng let out a sigh of relief and looked at me deeply. I didn't know what he was thinking. After hesitating for a long time, he still chose Qinwan and left me behind. But actually, as long as Lin Jinfeng had insisted on asking further or taken my phone to check, he would have found out that I wasn't handling any overseas travel formalities at all, but a fake death service. Unfortunately, he didn't do that. But it was okay. This way, I could leave without any burden. After they left, I took a car to the fake death service center. When I saw the silicone dummy whose skin texture was exactly the same as mine, I couldn't help but be surprised and marvel at their professionalism. While I was lost in thought, the staff handed me a contract. "Miss Jiang, we've booked a flight ticket to Milan for you. We've also canceled all your identity information. The silicone dummy is ready on that day. We'll make the dummy fall from the rooftop of the banquet hall according to your request. After that, there will be no Jiang Yin in the world anymore, only Jiang Fanqing. If you've made up your mind, sign here." Jiang Fanqing was the new name I gave myself, which meant self-redemption and eventually becoming a shining star. Just then, Qinwan updated her WeChat moments with just one word for me that I wanted it. "You bought it and gave it to me." In the photo, it was the dress that Lin Jinfeng said he had already returned. I smiled indifferently and signed the contract without hesitation. Soon, it was the day of our 5th wedding anniversary. Lin Jinfeng and I were going through the ceremony when he suddenly said he had a stomachache and left halfway. The next second, Qinwan sent me a text message, "Come to the dressing room anyway." I was leaving soon, so I didn't have anything to worry about. I still went through the crack of the door. Qinwan was wearing my dress and passionately kissing Lin Jinfeng. "You've been wronged all these years for my happiness." The tips of Lin Jinfeng's ears turned red. "As long as it's something you want, I'll satisfy you." I watched coldly and took out my phone to secretly record a video. After saving the video, seeing that the flight time was almost up, I took off the dress and gave it to the fake death service staff, asking them to put it on the dummy. Then I took a taxi back home and put the suicide note and divorce agreement I had prepared in advance, as well as the printed chat screenshots of Qinwan's provocation, on the table. After doing all this, I picked up my luggage and left for the airport without looking back. As soon as I arrived at the airport, my death news topped the headlines. In the video, when Lin Jinfeng saw the moment I fell off the building, his face turned pale. I sneered, turned off my phone, and turned around to board the plane. Lin Jinfeng, from now on, there will be no Jiang Yin in the world, only Jiang Fanqing. This time, I will be my own star. I hope we will never meet again in this lifetime. After arriving in Milan, I started from scratch. Using the identity of Jiang Fanqing, I sent out resumes and looked for a job, starting my new life. Before getting involved with the Lin brothers, I was also a design genius valued by my tutor and had outstanding design talent. Unfortunately, I was so love-struck at that time that I actually gave up the great opportunity to improve myself for these two brothers. During the time I was pursuing Lin Imo, my tutor intended to give me, his favorite student, the quota to study abroad, but I swore to pursue Lin Imo, so I refused. On the day Lin Jinfeng proposed to me, my tutor extended an olive branch to me for the second time, inviting me to join his team and further my studies in design with him, but I believed Lin Jinfeng's sweet words. In order to stay by his side and build a home with him, I refused my tutor's kind offer again. Now that I think about it, I was really stupid back then. Fortunately, there was a chance to start over. This time, I chose to live for myself, for Jiang Fanqing. Soon, I was selected by a jewelry company. Every day, I would draw, revise drafts, and design jewelry. Although I was busy and tired, I felt an inexplicable sense of fulfillment. and my sense of self-worth was greatly affirmed and satisfied while I was busy with work. It was said that Lin Jinfeng went completely crazy. The video of my fake body jumping off the 18th floor on the day of the banquet was also widely spread on Weibo. In the video, after seeing my fake body fall to its death, Lin Jinfeng immediately panicked and ran towards the direction where I fell. He tried to reach out and catch me, but it was still a step too late. My fake body died horribly in front of him. After my fake body died, he, who had always been a clean freak, held my body and cried bitterly, regretting what he had done. "Wife, wake up, don't scare me. We promised to stay together until old age. How could you be so heartless as to leave me behind?" Qinwan beside him wanted to comfort Lin Jinfeng, but he directly pushed her aside with his hand. "Don't touch me. Only Yin Yin can touch me." Later, Lin Jinfeng slumped on the ground, crying his eyes out. He even bent over and spat out a large mouthful of blood, fainting on the spot. The comments were all full of regret for our love. Sigh, why on earth did Jiang Yin lose her mind and commit suicide? Yeah, the CPI shift has finally ended in a sad way. I feel so sorry for Lin Jinfeng. He has always doted on Jiang Yin. Now that Jiang Yin is gone, how will he live in the future? I heard that he was greatly stimulated by Jiang Yin's death. Not only did he keep spitting blood, but he also turned white-haired overnight. But I just wanted to laugh when I saw all this. Love me. If Lin Jinfeng really loved me, he wouldn't have treated me as a substitute, nor would he have used me and done all those things to hurt me. He didn't love me at all. He was just being hypocritical. Moreover, if Lin Jinfeng really loved me, he should have realized at the first moment that the dummy wasn't me at all. I had checked. No matter how real the dummy was, there were still flaws. Many years ago, I was hit by a car and flew away while trying to save Lin Jinfeng, and I left a scar on my calf, but there was no such scar on the dummy. But after all this time, Lin Jinfeng didn't notice it at all. You scumbag. I was just about to exit when I found that Lin Jinfeng and Qinwan were also on the headlines. The trending topic was Lin Jinfeng suspected of having an affair and brutally beating the mistress. I clicked in, and it was a video recorded by a passerby. In the video, Lin Jinfeng had bulging veins and was furiously slapping Qinwan in the face. Why did you send these to Yin Yin? If it weren't for you, Yin Yin wouldn't have died. In his other hand, he was holding the divorce agreement, suicide note, and the printed screenshots of Qinwan's provocation that I had left in the living room. Qinwan was slapped until her mouth was full of blood. And she also lost her temper and retorted unceremoniously, "Now you're blaming me. Weren't you the one who came to me eagerly and begged to be my lackey in the first place? You didn't cherish Jiang Yin when she was alive. You were too timing. Now that she's dead, you're starting to regret it. You're so hypocritical." As soon as this video was posted, it immediately caused a huge stir. Everyone now knew that Lin Jinfeng had an affair during his marriage. The public opinion immediately reversed. The netizens who had felt sorry for Lin Jinfeng before now turned into keyboard warriors, scolding him and Qinwan. "You scumbag, what's with that affectionate persona? Disgusting, scumbag and bitch. You two are a perfect match, you dirty man. No wonder Jiang Yin didn't want you." The drama here wasn't over yet. Soon, Lin Mo joined the fray and also made it to the headlines shortly after. In the video, Lin Mo, who was on a business trip far away, immediately took a plane and rushed back after seeing the news online. He got into a scuffle with Lin Jinfeng and Qinwan at the doorstep of the house. Lin Mo punched and kicked Lin Jinfeng. "Lin Jinfeng, you scumbag, since you married Jiang Yin, you should have treated her well. But what did you do? You were too timing and got entangled with Qinwan. I'll beat you to death." Hearing Lin Mo say this in the video, I thought it was ridiculous. Clearly, he had also been leading me on before, wavering between me and Qinwan. Moreover, he clearly knew Lin Jinfeng's plan but didn't tell me and helped Lin Jinfeng deceive me together. He was equally selfish and hateful. After that, according to netizens, Lin Jinfeng became listless and ignored the company's affairs. He locked himself in the room all day long, drowning his sorrows in alcohol. As a result, his company went downhill, and he frenziedly posted on Weibo, expressing his longing for me. Later, he even spent a large sum of money customizing an ice coffin for me to preserve my body intact. Then, he took the ice coffin containing my body to see the aurora in the Arctic, the penguins in the Antarctic, and to sunbathe in the Maldives. He checked in and posted on Weibo every time he went to a place. These places carried our sweet memories. Lin Jinfeng tried to numb himself and brainwash himself in this way. I just thought it was ridiculous. He didn't cherish me when I was alive. But he had to pretend to be affectionate after losing me. He was just despicable. After that, I ignored them and devoted myself to my new job. Because of my efforts, I was soon promoted and received a raise, and I became a supervisor. I thought such a beautiful and peaceful life would continue until 3 years later, when a photo of me attending the company's press conference was taken and accidentally posted online. At that time, I was mentally prepared that with Lin Jinfeng's temperament, he would surely be able to track me down quickly. Sure enough, he came to my door not long after. That day, I had just gotten off work. As soon as I went out, I saw Lin Jinfeng. He had changed so much that I didn't recognize him at first. At that time, he had a stubbly beard and dark circles under his eyes, which was completely different from the refined and noble him in my memory. When he saw me, Lin Jinfeng's eyes filled with tears, and he was so excited that he couldn't even speak properly. "Yin Yan, it's really you. I knew it. You're not dead." As he spoke, he was about to rush up and hug me, but I took 2 steps back, keeping a distance from him, and said coldly, "You must have mistaken me for someone else. My name is Jiang Fanxing, not the Yin Yan you mentioned." When my colleagues around heard me say this, they started gossiping, speculating that Lin Jinfeng was here to deliberately make trouble. Some kind colleagues even wanted to step in and help me drive him away. Hearing this, Lin Jinfeng looked hurt, but his eyes were extremely determined. "Yin Yan, you can't deceive me. Over the past few years, under my questioning, the staff of the fake death service have confessed. You are my wife, Jiang Yan." Before I could react, he directly rolled up my pant leg. When he saw the scar on my calf, his eyes turned red on the spot, and he said hoarsely, "Yin Yan, you have such a heartless heart. Do you know how I've spent these 3 years? I've been thinking about you all night long. I couldn't eat well or sleep well. I even thought about committing suicide several times to be with you. Yin Yan, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have used you. I was wrong. But my love for you is real, only in this regard. I never lied to you. Yin Yan, I've already punished Qin severely for you, and I've blocked and deleted her. I promise you that I will never have any contact with her again. Please forgive me this time and come back with me." As he spoke, he carefully took my hand. The moment our fingertips touched, I shook off his hand in disgust. "Lin Jinfeng, no matter who I am, we can never go back to the way we were. We have nothing to do with each other anymore." Lin Jinfeng's eyes became even redder, and he choked up. "How can we have nothing to do with each other? We're husband and wife," I sneered and retorted. "Sorry, we've already divorced." Lin Jinfeng shook his head repeatedly, stubbornly insisting, "I didn't sign the divorce agreement back then, so we're not divorced. So you're still my wife now." I had an indifferent expression. "It's been 3 years already. The divorce cooling-off period has long ended. Lin Jinfeng, you're just an unimportant ex-husband to me now." After saying that, I pushed him away and was about to leave. The next second, a tall figure suddenly blocked my way. "Ian, if you don't consider him, consider me, will you?" I looked up and was stunned. "Lin Mo, why are you here?" The person in front of me was my childhood sweetheart, Lin Mo. He actually chased me here too. I should have checked the almanac before going out today, otherwise, I wouldn't have run into such bad luck one after another. Before I could ask Lin Mo about his purpose of coming, Lin Jinfeng beside me couldn't stand it anymore. He took a step forward and blocked in front of me. He gave Lin Mo a cold glance and frowned, saying, "Lin Mo, you should stay at home and take care of your Qin. What are you doing nosing around here? Come to think of it, this whole mess is because of your wife." Qinwan, if it weren't for her deliberate provocation, why would Yan Yan fake her death, and why would she divorce me? She's ruined my perfect family. As soon as Lin Jinfeng mentioned Qinwan, Lin Emo also showed a bit of disgust on his face and quickly distanced himself. Let me correct you. I've already forced a divorce with Qinwan. Now she's not my wife. At most, she's just an unimportant ex like you, Lin Jinfeng was retorted and was so angry that his face turned red on the spot. Just as he was about to flare up, he saw Lin Emo directly bypass him and come in front of me. Lin Emo took my hand and said affectionately, "Ian, I'm sorry. I just realized how good you are to me. I was blind before and let down your feelings." As he spoke, he took out an exquisite gift box from his pocket and placed it in my palm. When I opened it, there was a whole stack of envelopes inside, and there was also a large glass jar filled with paper cranes. Before I could react, Lin Emo had already taken out the envelopes and paper cranes. "Ian, do you remember, every time you confessed, you would write me a handwritten love letter? These are the 101 love letters you wrote for me with your own hand, and these 314 paper cranes in this glass jar. I just failed an exam that day, so you folded these paper cranes to comfort and encourage me." I looked at Lin Emo coldly. "So, what exactly are you trying to say?" Hearing this, Lin Mo's ears turned red instantly. "Although this sentence is a bit late, I still want to tell you, Ian. I agree to your confession. I was blind before. Would you be willing to give me another chance now?" I felt a sense of disappointment and my mouth twitched in speechlessness. Was I blind before? How could I have fallen for such a disappointing man? Before I could open my mouth to refuse, Lin Jinfeng beside me was also anxious. He grabbed my other hand and began to list all the good things I had done for him. He even took out the jade pendant I had given him before. "Yan Yan, do you remember this? You knelt on more than 1,000 steps. Step by step, to specially pray for this consecrated piece jade pendant for me when I had a high fever. Yan Yan, I admit that at first I did use you, but later I found that I truly fell in love with you. Our 5-year relationship as husband and wife, how can you just throw it away?" I felt a churning in my stomach and felt disgusted. I was really stupid back then. Why did I have to look for men in the trash? And I was actually played around by these two brothers. Lin Jinfeng and Lin Emo were both looking at me eagerly at the moment, competing to give me their gifts, both hoping to be chosen by me. I curled my lips into a smile and slowly walked towards Lin Emo. When Lin Emo saw this, he thought I had accepted him, and a flash of joy appeared on his face. He was about to reach out and hug me. "Ian, I knew that our childhood relationship wasn't for nothing." Before he could finish speaking, I had already bypassed him and threw the gift box he gave me into the trash can by the roadside in front of him. Trash should stay in the trash can. When Lin Emo heard me say this, his face turned green on the spot, looking extremely ugly. Lin Jinfeng took the opportunity to kick a man when he was down and gloated. "I know Yan Yan, she would never want a second-hand item like you. Yan Yan, since you rejected Lin Emo, does that mean the person you truly choose is me?" Before I could refuse, he had already stuffed the jade pendant into my hand. I smiled and took it. When Lin Jinfeng saw this, his eyes lit up. "Yan Yan, I knew you still love me," but the next second, his smile froze on his face, because I directly smashed the jade pendant into pieces in front of him. Lin Jinfeng was suddenly stunned, and then his face immediately turned pale. He couldn't help but widen his eyes and looked at me in disbelief, his voice trembling. "Yan Yan, you smashed it. Why are you being so heartless to me?" When I heard him say this, I thought it was funny, me being heartless. "Lin Jinfeng, don't you feel guilty when you say this? After all, you're much more heartless than me. When I found out that your 5 years of doting on me were all just for using me, when I watched you save Qinwan instead of me with my own eyes, and when I saw you two kissing with my own eyes, do you know how I felt? I was completely broken." Hearing this, Lin Jinfeng seemed to think of something, and there was a hint of guilt in his eyes when he looked at me. Suddenly, he thumped and knelt down in front of me. Tears of regret silently streamed down his face. In full view of everyone, Lin Jinfeng, who had always been noble, actually kowtowed to me on the spot. once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, tears mixed with blood and slid down. I'm sorry, Yin Yin, I was wrong, I'm sorry for you. But I really love you, and I can't live without you. I'm begging you, please give me a chance to make it up, okay? This time, I will never let you down again. Before he could finish speaking, I interrupted him coldly. Actually, you said something very right before. Lin Jinfeng raised his head with hope in his eyes, but when he heard my next words, his eyes completely dimmed. I really wouldn't want a second-hand item. You have some self-awareness. Seeing my firm attitude, Lin Jinfeng also knew that it was completely impossible for us. He collapsed on the ground, and his eyes were red from crying in the wind, but I was unmoved and turned around and left without looking back. I had just walked a few steps when I heard footsteps behind me. I quickened my pace, and he quickened his pace too. When I slowed down, he also slowed down. He was just following me at a distance. I was startled and knew that I was being followed, so I took the opportunity and ran into a small alley, just as I was relieved that I had shaken off the person following me. The next second, I felt a pain in the back of my head, then, my eyes went black, and I fainted on the spot. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself in an abandoned flower factory. My hands and feet were tied tightly to a chair, and I couldn't move. While I was confused, I heard a cold voice coming from above. Jiang Yin, you're finally awake. I looked up, and a familiar figure came into view. I was stunned. It's you, Qinwan. Qinwan no longer had the brightness she used to have. At this moment, her eyes were fierce, and her face was mean. She had turned into a resentful woman. She looked at me viciously and gritted her teeth. Of course it's me. There's a reason for every grievance, and a debtor for every debt, since you won't let me live a good life. I naturally won't let you have a good time either. Jiang Yin, you bitch, you didn't die at all, but you deliberately faked your death. Just because of you, Lin Jinfeng and Lin Emo don't want me anymore. They abandoned me, also because of you. I was cyberbullied and became a person hated by everyone. Clearly, you're the one to blame. Why should you live a comfortable life here while I'm spurned by the world? I glanced at her and retorted coldly without hesitation. Qinwan, you brought this upon yourself. If it weren't for your greed and your wavering between the two brothers, you wouldn't have ended up like this. You can't blame anyone. You deserve all this. Before I could finish speaking, Qinwan raised her hand and gave me a solid slap. In just a moment, my face swelled up high, and it hurt terribly. Bitch, shut up. Weren't you also wavering between the two brothers? What right do you have to talk about me? You chased the elder brother and married the younger brother. What's the difference between you and me in essence? You're acting so high and mighty. Aren't you just relying on your pretty face? Then I'll disfigure your face and see how you, this vixen, can still cause trouble. A trace of jealousy and hatred flashed in her eyes. The next second, she directly picked up the dagger on the table and was about to slash at my face. In an instant, fear invaded my brain, and my body couldn't stop trembling. You're crazy. You're just a lunatic. Qinwan gave a sinister smile. Yes, I'm a lunatic, so you can go to hell. Just as the dagger was about to pierce my skin, at this critical moment, two voices sounded simultaneously from outside the door. Stop. As soon as the words were spoken, two figures burst through the door. It was none other than Lin Jinfeng and Lin Emo. After they appeared, Qinwan's hand holding the dagger visibly loosened. She looked at them with a delighted expression. Jinfeng, Emo, did you come for me? I'm so happy. I knew you still couldn't let me go. I didn't balance the relationship between the three of us well before, so you were angry with me, so I've decided to be fair. I'll be with Jinfeng on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with Amo on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and take a rest on Sundays. Will you forgive me now? But Lin Jinfeng and Lin Emo seemed to ignore Qinwan. The gazes of the two brothers were firmly fixed on me, and their faces were filled with uncontrollable concern. Their tones were urgent as they said, Yin Yin. I was also surprised to see them appear. Although I resented what they had done to me, I didn't want them to lose their lives because of me. I took a deep breath and shouted at them, why are you here? Hurry up and leave. Qinwan has a knife, it's dangerous here. Unexpectedly, instead of leaving, the two brothers took a few steps closer to me. Yin Yin, we're not afraid. Yes, before. We were still reluctant to give up and wanted to try to win you back, so we followed you, unexpectedly. We just happened to witness the scene of you being kidnapped. Do you know that in order to catch up with you, Jean Foam and I even ran several red lights. Fortunately, we arrived in time, otherwise, I don't even dare to think about the consequences. Jean never expected that the two brothers who had always doted on her and protected her would one day treat her like air. They even showed concern, their substitute. Right in front of her, jealousy instantly enveloped her. Her face was distorted, and her eyes were blazing with anger as she stared at me. Her resentful gaze seemed to want to devour me alive. Qinwan gestured and moved the dagger closer to my neck. Stop right there. If you dare to take one more step closer, I'll kill her. Hearing this, Lin Jinfeng and Lin Emo stopped in their tracks immediately and looked at Qinwan coldly. Qinwan, what do you want to do to let Yin Yin go? As long as you let her go, you can name any condition. Qinwan curled her lips into a smile, and her eyes were full of paranoia and madness. Anything is okay, then, break your own legs. As long as you're willing to cripple your own legs for Jiang Yin, I can consider sparing her miserable life. Hearing her say this, the two brothers were stunned on the spot. Qinwan was very satisfied with their reaction and sneered at me. Jiang Yin, do you see, a man's affection is as cheap as grass. They keep saying they love you, but in the end, they still choose to protect themselves. Before Qinwan could finish speaking, the next second, we saw Lin Emo and Lin Jinfeng pick up the huge stones on the ground and smash them hard on their legs. In a short while, their legs were smashed to a pulp by themselves, with the bones clearly visible, and their cries of pain came one after another. As they smashed their legs, they confessed to me, Ian, I'm sorry. If I could do it all over again, I would definitely choose you, Yin Yin. I let you down, not to mention one leg. I would even be willing to trade my life for yours. Qinwan, can you let Yin Yin go now? Seeing this scene, Qinwan was so angry that she went crazy. Her eyes were blood red as she stared at me. Why, you're just my substitute, only worthy of picking up what I don't want. How can you act superior to me? I will never allow it. You can go to hell. She picked up the dagger and stabbed at me. I closed my eyes, resigned to my fate. But there was no expected pain. I heard a muffled groan. When I opened my eyes, it was Lin Emo. Ian, I'm sorry. Let me love you in the next life. I was somewhat surprised. Lin Emo actually rushed up and tipped the knife for me. Before I could react, I saw Lin Emo pull out the dagger on the spot and stab Qinwan with it. Qinwan spat out blood, and she and Lin Emo both fell in a pool of blood. Before she died, Qinwan fumbled in her pocket for a lighter, lit it, and threw it aside with a crazy smile. Haha, let's die together. This was a flower factory, and it could explode at any time when there was an open fire. Lin Jinfeng naturally knew this truth. He limped over to untie me and pulled me out. Just as we reached the door, a huge wave of fire engulfed us. Because I inhaled too much smoke, I fainted. In a daze, I felt a pair of strong hands lift me up horizontally. He even protected me with his body and rushed towards the door. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself lying in a hospital bed. At that time, the doctor had just finished examining me. There's nothing serious. After you finish this bottle of infusion, you can be discharged from the hospital. When I saw the doctor, my head suddenly ached. I suddenly thought of something and quickly grabbed the doctor's sleeve and asked, Doctor, is there a patient named Lin Jinfeng here? How is he? And his brother Lin Emo, is he okay? The doctor looked at me sympathetically and patted my shoulder helplessly. Lin Emo was already dead when he was brought in. Please accept my condolences. As for Lin Jinfeng, he had already injured one leg. Later, because of the explosion, his other good leg was also crippled. He was too seriously injured, and there's nothing we can do. In the future, he can only get around in a wheelchair. If you have time, go and comfort him more. After saying that, the doctor turned and left. I stood there, stunned, unable to speak for a long time. So, It was Lin Jinfeng who saved me that day. After all, I owed him such a huge favor. After thinking it over, I still found his hospital room. At this time, Lin Jinfeng was covered with tubes all over his body, and his legs were wrapped in bandages. He was extremely haggard and no longer had the confident and unrestrained appearance he used to have. When he saw me, a glimmer of light instantly flashed in Lin Jinfeng's dim eyes. "Yin Yin, you're here. Does this mean you've forgiven me?" The tip of his nose was already red from the cold, and there was still snow on his hair tips. His eyes were full of love and affection, which was completely different from the decisive, cold and noble President Lin in everyone's words. "No, I'm here to say thank you, Lin Jinfeng. No matter what you did to me before, it's a fact that you saved me. Thank you for saving me. I will bear all your medical expenses and follow-up treatment costs." After saying that, I turned to leave, but Lin Jinfeng grabbed my hand, his eyes full of pleading. "Other than this, don't you have anything else to say, Yin Yin? I'm sorry for what I did to you before. I know I was wrong. Between us, I indifferently pulled my hand back. "I accept your apology, but it doesn't mean I will forgive you, Lin Jinfeng. The harm you caused me can never be offset by a few light apologies. Between us, it's over." Hearing this, Lin Jinfeng's hand fell limply. Soon, sobs came from the hospital room. I, however, turned and left without looking back. After that, I worked hard, and soon, I made further progress in my work. I was not only promoted and received a raise, but also met the Yen master of the Beijing Circle. He also admired me very much and launched a fierce pursuit of me through day-to-day interaction and observation, and with his persistent efforts, I finally agreed to his confession. 2 years later, we got engaged successfully. He spent hundreds of millions of assets to hold a grand wedding of the century for me. Moreover, he even broadcast it live globally and invited superstars from various industries to attend our wedding, giving me a great deal of dignity. On the day of the engagement, Lin Jinfeng also came in a wheelchair. On the stage, we exchanged rings and kissed sweetly, but he sat in the wheelchair, his eyes red from crying on the spot. It was said that not long after that day, the Lin Group went bankrupt, and Lin Jinfeng went crazy. As for me, I found the person who could truly spend the rest of my life with me. The future is full of happiness. The end.